Hallelujah. 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 Baruch atah ya Elohim. Elohei Abotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yisrael. Ha'el Hagibor, Ha'el Hanora. El Gomer Kol Debarim. Toda Rabba Lepa'am Hazeh. Toda Rabba Le'et Hazot. Bebakwashaya Tikwabel na Tefilati. Ut Filot B'nei Yisrael Tikwabel Bebakwashaya. El Elohei Yisrael. Bebakwasha Elohim. Anaknu mit wadim lefaneka. Ki anaknu kata'im. Anaknu katanu lefaneka. Anaknu asinu. Wehe'ewinu. Hirshanu. Salaklanu na Yahovah Eloheinu. Ki anaknu halaknu baresha. Leka olam bebakwashaya. Salaklanu kasho shabonu mitzvoteka. Wagamet kukweka. Asha atazi wata et Moshe. Ya El Elohei Yisrael, Tirkatzna Kulanu, Washuglanu et Sefatenu, Tarbutenu, Wagam Kenko Hadbarim Hatobim, Ashel Nil Kwaku Memenu, Kishabaranu Me'emet Teka, Na Yahovah Eloheinu, Tekwabel Na Hamakom Haze, Warakets Babakusha et Ko Katotam, Wana Ya El Elohei Yisrael, Tebrekna Hanasi Babayit Haze, Wagam Kain. Call Nisi Ahem, Wagam can call Nisiko Tehem, Wagam can call Benehem, Ub no Tehem, Yella Dehem, Wagam can Yalo Dot Tehem, Na Yahovah Eloheinu, Bebakwashaya, Tiana in Imi, Wagam can Tiana Imish Pakti, Tibarekna et Aki Nazakya, Wagam can Abiu with Imo, Wagam can Ekaya wa Akiotayo, Na Yahovah Eloheinu. Tiena im akinu nasi yashuvel the editan again. Wagam kain anaknu mitwadim lefaneka wa no de laka ki ata gamorata hadabar hahu wagam kain ata asita hahu lihi yoto. Hallelujah. 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 Amen. Well, amen. Shalom nasi. Shalom. Shalom. How's everybody doing? So, man, can I be heard and seen clearly? Okay, so we're on. All right, we're up to, brothers and sisters, lesson number 17. I'm going to start off by reading out of this book right here. All right, can it be seen? Come closer. Lower. All right. African people and European holidays, a mental genocide, right? Volume 2. And I want to go to page 50 in this book, brothers and sisters. All right? And it reads as follows. The English language, once considered to be vulgar and profane speech by the aristocracy of Europe, is the official language of the United States. English is rooted in the Anglo-Saxon tongues taught to the ancient Saxons by the blacks, and bears traces of the Ethiopian language left behind by the Iberians who first inhabited the British Isles. Now I want to explain some of the Iberian people, if we can go there, brothers and sisters, for edification purposes. Spelled as such, Iberia. The Ayin, Bet, and Resh. Now, of course, this form of Hebrew is writing backward because Hebrew is always read and written from right to left. But here's the point that I want to make. The Iberian people, or the Iberian Peninsula, which is over to or adjacent to Spain, were the Hebrews that were over that. All right? So I just want that to be noted in history. So the people of the Iberians were partly of the Hebrews. This is how you get the IBR. Because some people do say ayin makes the I sound, all right, when they say it's a guttural. But getting back to the point of what I wanted to state is just letting it be noted and understood that the Iberian people were part of the house of Israel. Okay? So we're going to continue on in this. There are still many Hebrew, Indian, Arabic, and Ethiopian words used in the language today. As a matter of fact, during the American Revolution, there was a popular proposal to replace English with Hebrew as the official language of the United States. Hebrew was believed by the colonists to be the mother of all tongues. And until 1817, the annual commencement addresses at Harvard, which is a school in DC, Harvard, sorry, is in Connecticut, I stand corrected, were delivered in Hebrew. So it's saying until 1817, the annual commencement addresses at Harvard were delivered in Hebrew. This is coming out of this book right here. Now, when I checked up on it, the reference that he got from the Washington Post back in 1982, I checked it out online and it showed to be accurate in the man's source. All right? So I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. So now, are there any questions, comments, complaints so far from what we went over? Okay, can it still be heard clearly? All right, good. Now, what we're going to be dealing with in this particular case, as in any class, there's books that are needed. This book right here, 201 Biblical Hebrew, is a book that is needed as we continue on. All right? If you remember from like lesson 3 or 4, I was saying this book was needed, but not until later. Well, now it's later. So now we need this book. All right? So I don't mean to sound funky or offensive or nasty, but that's what it is in regards to that. However, if you have this, you're still in a good light. I'm talking the way college teachers talk to students about who don't buy their books on time. Those who've been in college know exactly what it is. Some of them could be real goss, which is Hebrew for nasty, but we're going to keep it clean in Israel. This right here is another book that's needed, the Hebrew Dictionary. All right, the Ben Yehuda Hebrew Dictionary. And another book that's needed is this here, the 201 Hebrew Verb book. All right? So we've been going over these types of things so far. Now, I want to state that I have 2 of these here, 201 Hebrew verbs. And as you see, the price, can it be seen? Let me know. Is either $13.95 or $10.95. I'm selling them for $5. All right? So just want that to be noted. Then, for those who are advanced, we have what is referred to as the Tikkun L'Korim. Those out of Hashaba or from older camps know exactly what this is. Now, if you are following from lesson 1 and lesson 2 intensely, there's no reason why one should not be able to read out that book right there. Now, you may not know what you're reading in translation, but you'll be able to know how to read it. All right? Then we have here the Tanakh. Also got this for sale. All right? I'm selling these for $5 itself. All right? This is the Masoretic text of the Tanakh. 2 of them available, the Tikkun being 15, and then, not trying to play salesman, but this one that I wrote, which is still available online, Egypt Talking Writing, did the Torah come from the culture of Tameri? Now, just want that to be noted. Okay, what we're going to go over, brothers and sisters, is a lesson that is quite, to be quite candid, intense, but not over one's head if one has been following. I tried to teach this on a collegiate level. When I say of collegiate, I mean of college references, college orientation. Because if you remember, in lesson 3, we already had a little quiz, which we have not had in a while. You understand? Now, as I stated, I do read the comments that people are stating. There's before, you know, the complaint about the sound or the board glossy and so forth and so on. Thank you for those comments again, nonetheless. And as you see, we put our attempt and best foot forward to improve upon that. Now, in continuing this particular portion right here. Now, if you remember, brothers and sisters, the alphabet, Aleph, Bet, Gamel, Dalet, Hey, wow, zan, ketet, yo, kaf. Laben, mem, nun, samek, ayin, pei, fei, zade, kuf, re, shin, tau. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet if you don't include what is referred to as the Sophite letters. We've been over that in the past. The Sophite letters, Ka Sophite, Mem Sophite, Nun Sophite, Fe Sophite, Zade Sophite. All right? So just want that to be noted for edification purposes. We have, brothers and sisters, and we'll continue to keep harping on our friend here, the word Kitab. All right? Now, can anybody, either listening or in the room, explain what does the word Kitab mean? Anyone? One of the people here said it means to write, which it does. Now, that's a verb. We went over this before and before. If we keep on remembering, when you put a mem in front of a verb, right, it becomes a noun. So here we got V for verb and masculine noun. MN stands for masculine noun. Now, how do we know it's masculine? It's because it does not end with a patak and a hey next to it. All right, so I just want that to be noted. So if Kitab means to write, Miktab means letter. Now, why am I going over this? You'll see as we go on. Then we have, brothers and sisters, making it into a feminine noun. All right, we have the word Ketubah. All right. Here we see, brothers and sisters, I want to show this for edification purposes. The kwamat and the hey. This is how you know it's the feminine. All right. So then you have the ketubah. Now, kitab means to write, miktab means letter, and ketubah means also letter, but it also is understood for marriage certificate. A couple of elders, women in Israel, have actually still retained their ketubah. Those from the olden days in Israel know exactly what I'm talking about, because the ketubah is better than the kiritut. Does anybody know what the kiritut is in Israel? Nobody whatsoever online knows that. All right, that's what we're going to do. Does anybody know what the word kiritut is? Can anybody online take a shot at it? Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna wait too. Anybody at the sound of the voice, can they please explain what they understand the kiritut to be at all? No? All right. Kiritut means divorce certificate. And you read that in Deuteronomy 24. All right, it comes from the root word karat, which means to cut off. But anyway, getting back to the point of what we're saying. All right, katab, miktab, ketubah. All right, feminine noun. Now, if we remember, like we went over last week, like the word kippah, kippati, my hat. So it will become, to show the possession of that noun, kitubati, my letter. Kitubatka, your letter when speaking to a male. Kitubatek, your letter when speaking to a female. Now, another thing I want to show for edification purposes is, if you go in your own time and you read Deuteronomy 10, verse 4, you see that word there. Or you go to 2 Samuel 1 verse 18. All right? So you can get biblical understanding of where you will begin to see these words at in the Hebrew. All right, so you see ketubah in 2 Samuel 1:18, and then you see miktab in Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 4. All right, so we're going to go over Hebraic understanding how to use the dictionary, how to look at a word and be able to parse the verb, parse the word, parse the sentence, be able to break it down. What is the prefix? What's the suffix? What's the adverb? What's the adjective? How to break the grammar down. This is how we teach here concerning these kind of Hebrew classes. I stated about maybe 5 weeks ago, we're going to start to really be going in and thank the Most High, good health, able to travel back and forth. Oh, and by the way, for those who are not in New York, it rained something serious earlier here. But we still thank the Most High. It wasn't a downpour like it was like 2 weeks ago where we had to postpone, if you remember, the following next available day. But here's back to the point of this, all right? If you remember this other aspect we're going to go over as well, the verb quara, all right? Quara, anybody knows what quara means? Online, or anybody that happens to be in the room? Okay? Yeah. It's said quite often, believe it or not, in Israel. The word quara means to call. All right? When you read Leviticus and you read such and such, that's the root of that right there. Okay? So quara, we have this word right here. Mikra. All right? Which is the masculine noun. MN stands for masculine noun. You know how often we say this in Israel? Mikra, Mikra Kodesh, holy convocation. You see this word Mikra when you go to Leviticus 23, verse 3. All right? So I'm going to write that in there. Leviticus 23, verse 3. Then we have the other word, which is the feminine, all right? Queria. Which means calling. All right? Feminine noun. Now, mikra, masculine noun. Queria, feminine noun. All right? How do we know that? Because that's stated, right? But not only a hey, because eshtakawe ends in a hey, but that doesn't make that word feminine. But it's only feminine, we know that because it has a patak and a hey next to it. That's how we know. So now we will see it as mikra'i, my call. Mikraka, your call. But when you're dealing with the feminine noun, remember the hey becomes a tau. I explained that in my book, Egypt Talk and Writing. All right? So you have queriati, queriata, queriato, queriata, queriatnu. And if you remember the pattern that we went over with the feminine nouns, it all follows the same way. So one of the things to point out, when you're dealing with the word kitab, to write kaf tau bet, kaf tau bet, kaf tau bet. The root doesn't drop out when you're changing it from verb to noun, masculine or to the feminine. Quara, kuf resh hey, kuf resh aleph, kuf resh aleph. No matter if you put a mem in front of it, or a noon, or a yod within it, or even a noon at the end, in certain cases, the root never drops out. For instance, giving you another one, I'm gonna just say it. Does anybody know what shakwar in Hebrew means? You can already tell, more than likely, it's a verb. But does anybody know what the shakwar, sheen, kuf, resh, mean? Dun, 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 dun. Okay, the word shakwar means lie, L-I-E, like deceit, lie, like a trickery, like a deceit. Shakran means liar, one who tells lies. All right, so what you do in that particular case, as I stated before on the Shabbat, you just put a noon at the end. Or in many cases, they will say liar, L-I-A-R, as mishakwer, by just putting a mem in the front of that verb. So these are certain things, just letting them be noted for edification purposes how Hebrew is explained and read. Are there any questions about what we're going over so far? Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is continue on with what we were talking about, okay, and see from that particular aspect. Now, with the notes that were made, all right, because it's a syllabus aspect that I'm dealing with, is this. All right, when you're dealing with this Hebrew dictionary, all right, I want to go over a couple of things with the time allotted, then we'll go over some more aspects, okay? All right, can the dictionary be seen? All right. Let's look at this for those who have it on the Hebrew English side, right? On page 240. Okay? What we're going to do and look at, brothers and sisters, is this right here. If you look at the very first part, it says pay, and faso feet. Right? Right here. Okay. Now, you know how the alphabet goes? It's the same way in Hebrew. So if you're looking for a word that starts with pei tau, you have to go all the way using the headlines in the beginning of or the top of the page, right? And go to this part right here on page 253, if it could be seen. Okay, so now if you're looking for something that's pay and bet, all right, well, yeah, well, that's not accurate. But if you're looking for pay and gamel, because they're saying here there's no pay and bet, but if you're looking for pay and gamel back on page 240, right, you got to go right here. Can it be seen? Right here, where it says pay and gamel, where my finger is. On page 240. Can it be seen? So you know gamel. So if you want to go pay gamel resh, and you already at pay gamel ayin, you know you got to keep on going on past that because resh comes after ayin. Just like A, B, C, D, and you're looking for something that starts with the letter E, you don't stay looking at B. You got to go on to looking at E. It's the same way when reading this dictionary to look up a word in Hebrew. All right? So I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Okay. So, continuing on in what we're talking about. In Hebrew, right? They have what is referred to as the imperfect and the perfect verb, right? Imperfect verb, all right? And perfect verb, all right? So this is just something I just hope to be noted for edification purposes. What is referred to as the imperfect verb is a verb that they consider to be incomplete, all right? So therefore, the imperfect verb, IV in this case, all right, will be considered in other terms as the future tense. Can anybody give me a future tense word? Shalom, Aki. Can anybody give me a future tense word that we went over in the past that was very common? Doom, doom, doom. Yeah, anyone? Any future tense? Pick any future tense word that you know off the top of your head, even if we didn't go over it. One of the judges in Israel was named Yiftach. Yiftach is a verb in Hebrew. His name was actually a verb. All right? Yiftach means he will open, from the Hebrew root word patak. All right? So let's just take that one for instance. You have Yiftach, right? Which means he will open. Now, that will be considered an imperfect verb because it's not complete. So that's just something I wanted to be noted for edification purposes. What is considered, brothers and sisters, a perfect verb, right, would be what is called in common terms like the past tense. All right? And that is something such as saying, patak T. Patak T means I opened. Okay? So I opened. He will open. Okay? So just want that to be noted. When you're reading about Hebrew knowledge in Hebrew dictionaries, Hebrew college course books, and so forth and so on, and you run into them talking about the imperfect verb and the perfect verb, when they're talking about the perfect verb, they're talking about a verb that has been already done, something that's already, the action has already passed, such as I opened is already the past, patak T. Okay? So that's just something I want to note it for edification purposes. All right? So I hope that could be noted for edification purposes. Next, we're going to move on in what we're talking about. I'm going to erase this part right here. And we're going to continue on in the class with the time allotted and with the notes here. All right, so let me give an example of how a sentence is done and give forth the meanings of such. All right, look at this here. You have the word akal Dawid. Matter of fact, I'm gonna write it a little different so it could be more space. Akal Dawid Mazon. All right? Okay, so just so it can be noted for edification purposes, what we are looking at right here, brothers and sisters, and we've been following along from the first and second lesson. I keep emphasizing that because that's very important to be able to follow along where we're going over now. Akal Dawid Mazon. Does anybody remember what does the word akal mean? Eat. That's the root of it. E-A-T. But being that we're dealing with what they consider the perfect verb, it means ate, or it's the past tense. All right? Or more properly, he ate. All right? Then we have Dawid. All right? Transliterated to the word David. All right? But Dawid in translation means beloved. Okay? Then we have the word mazon. Does anybody remember what does the word mazon mean? All right? It means food. F-O-O-D. So David ate food. Now, one of the things I want to show in this, biblically and externally, most times when people are speaking Hebrew, they put the verb before the noun that is speaking of. They put the verb before the pronoun that's being spoken of biblically. All right? So you would sit there and see that. Joshua chapter 2, it says, Vayishlach Yehoshua, and Joshua said, all right? Vayishma ha'ish, and the man he heard. All right? That's biblical Hebrew. Now, one of the things I noticed, not to sound racial, is when I, a black man, speak with European Jews in Hebrew, one of the common things they tell me is, oh, you speak Old Hebrew. So even they know what we're speaking is not Yiddish, and they know what we're speaking in most cases is not even quote-unquote modern Hebrew. All right, so I just want that to be noted. Modern Hebrew will tell you, modern Hebrew will tell you that, oh, this is what modern Hebrew does right here. Look at this here. This is how they will spell this. That's modern Hebrew. Beit Resh Wow Kuf Lamed Yo Nun. You know what that's supposed to say? Brooklyn. There's no Hebrew word for Brooklyn, but they will tell you Baruch Lin. That's modern Hebrew. You're not going to find that in this book here called the Tikkun LaKoraim that we use in many camps when we go up to read in the Hebrew. All right? So I want that to be noted for edification purposes. All right? We went over certain things in the past to let that be noted. They would say something like this. Bronx is supposed to be the Bronx. There's no Hebrew word for Brooklyn. There's no Hebrew word for Bronx. All right, so you're not going to find the Israelites speaking Brooklyn, Flatbush, Bedford-Stuyvesant. No, there's no Hebrew word for Bed-Stuy, Brownsville, Flatbush, Crown Heights. Well, actually, there is a word for crown, and there's a word for heights. Keter is crown, and Ramah is height. But the point I'm getting back to, for those in New York know where I'm coming from, is there is no Hebrew word for New York. New York is not Hebrew. All right? So I just want that to be noted. Now, getting back to the point, you have here in Hebrew, this is the verb, right? So what we're speaking on in this particular case, Dawid is considered the subject of the verb. What are you talking about? He ate. What is the subject matter of that? Is Dawid or David. And this is called the object, all right? The food thing itself. So we have the verb, the subject, and the object. This is how you teach Hebrew. Does not sound haughty or belligerent or anything of that sort. Are there any questions or comments whatsoever from anyone or complaints at all? Okay, so we have Akal, Dawid, Mazon. Now, most Israelites know the Hebrew word mazon already means what? Food. It comes from the Hebrew root word hezim. The root word hezim in the Hifil stem means to feed. All right? So I just want that to be noted and understood. In Hebrew, we're going to go on and on. One of the things that I would like to do, blessed be the Most High, with this understanding and gift in time, is be able to translate the songs that we're singing to the Most High. What does Eshtakawe, Kwadosha, Hallel mean? You understand? When you're saying Baruch Hashem Shel Yehovah, how do you explain that and parse that particular sentence? What is Ha'azinali? Me no tain lekem, me no tain mayan, me ma'akil amo ko hazman. That's Hebrew. But one of the things to point out is, as time goes on, is to be able to translate the songs that we are reading and singing. Okay? So I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. So we're going to continue on with what we're doing and with the time allotted. And you will see, brothers and sisters, These kind of lessons, hands down, it's not to sound haughty, you'll be amazed at how much they try to charge people for this inside of a university, or even some Israelites that try to charge for Hebrew classes on the low. But that's their business. But in Shema, we don't do that. The classes are free. When I was taught, the classes were free. The books ain't, the class and the time was. So just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Now, in the past, all right, we went over in Hebrew these two particular things. One thing called the qual stem, right? First stem in Hebrew verbs, all right? Then we had the nifal stem, all right? Second stem in verbs, all right? Now, the qual, as we went over before, is words like akal, he ate. If you transform that to the nifal stem, it will turn from akal to ne'ekal. Now, here's how this works. If you look at, you got your 201? Thank you. If you look at the 201 Hebrew verb book, all right, this is what I'm saying. Teaching this on a collegiate college course type of thing. We're going to go, brothers and sisters, if I could use the brother's book and page, because he already paid for it, so it's his, so I asked for permission. It's called Manners. Okay. And I owe you a new one. No, on the real, I owe you a new one. For real? Really? See, this is what happens with some quality of your books, people. This just happened a second ago. So you get this in its place. All right, and I'll keep this. See, that's core Torah. When you damage something to somebody else's, you keep the damaged because it was your fault, dude, and the person who owns it gets the better one. See, that's called Exodus. Like if your beast harms another, you don't sit there and say, you're bad. You replace it. It's called restitution. Israel is worth more than 201 verbs. All right? So what I'm going to do is show how this particular stem works in the Hebrew. And I apologize for the book. All right. That ain't my fault. Sometimes it's the quality of the book itself. You can also PDF this, by the way, for those interested. You look at the word akal. Can it be seen? Where my hand is? It means to eat or to dine. Now, under the kal stem, just that, eat or dine. Then we have akalti, akalta, akalt, akal, akla, akalnu, akaltem, akalten, aklu. Past tense. Then we have the future tense. Okal, tokal, tokli, so forth. Now, if you look where it says two, we're on page 12, by the way, in the 201 verb book. All right? Can we see it? Number 2, where my finger is? All right. Right, that's the nifal stem, right? And the root of that is ne'ekal, and that means to be eaten, or to be consumed, or to be destroyed. Because when you eat something like a fruit, that fruit has become destroyed. So when you look in your 201 verb book, and you're seeing these different things like to eat, then you look down and say to be eaten. This is what we're talking about. The qual stem is what they refer to in English as the active, okay? And the nifal is what is referred to as the passive of the qual. Let me explain as before. Active is the one doing it. Passive is the one being done to. So if I am taking my right hand and holding the bottle is passive and my right hand is active. All right? So I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. So you will have something like, all right, Give an example. Akal mazon. Meaning what? He ate food. Good example, thank you. Then, that's qual stem, right? Now, when you're saying it in the nif'al, you will say it as such. I still could be heard clearly? Ne'ekal mazon. All right? What you have done basically is added a noon. Remember we was going over the prefixes and the suffixes when I was going over lesson 1, saying noon is important later? Well, now it's later. See, that's why I keep talking about going back to lesson 1 and 2. If you didn't go to lesson 1 and 2, stop right now, go back there, pause it, then come back to 17. Not to be nasty, but you can't understand this without doing that. Let me give an example. There was a Kung Fu movie. The guy, I don't know the degrees of belts, but I know white's the beginning, black is the end. The dude was like a yellow or a brown, and he didn't get to a purple yet. In other words, he had to step up to it. So he wanted to fight this guy. This is a Kung Fu movie, I'm not making it up. He wanted to keep fighting this guy, and his sensei or his teacher kept saying, no, you're not ready. No, you're not ready. So when the guy being hard-headed was like, yo, let me just add him. Yo, I'm a record. Yo, let me add him. His sensei or his teacher, who was a black belt, you understand, went down his degree to a purple belt, and the guy that was a yellow belt got himself eaten and destroyed. I mean, jaw broke, eye out. This is why I was telling you, you can't sit there and step to the guy with the black belt yet. You have to go steps and degrees. You can't let, yo, I just want to sit there and do that. Take your time. Everything will be all right. That's life. You understand? So I'm saying it in this context too. If you want to really get into Hebrew, you may have to just start from the very beginning. The drummers that you see in Yisrael that came out of Hashaba, the later ones, I was indirectly raised with them. You understand? And I remember when I was like, yo, I want to deal with the drums. So they was like, okay, this is boom, 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 boom. I'm like, no, I want the timbales. No, you can't do the timbales. Here's the second bass. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, well, how come when they doing the Hashab with the Hallelujah, why can't I take the sticks, go in the timbales with the cowbell and the cymbal on it, and ding, because you don't know dum dum yet. So when you learn dum dum, then go from the second bass, the third bass, the second bass, the first bass. Then you go second runners, then top runners. Then you go to the timbales. Because we not, or they were not in Hashaba having somebody go up there who can't play the drums. I asked, I'm not going to mention his name because he doesn't go to this place. But I asked brother, I said, how do y'all know what to play when? He says it's rhythm and it's practice. Same thing with anything else. Once it comes down to this particular aspect, it comes with rhythm and practice. Hebrew goes by pattern. The Hebrew people have a rhythm with them. So their language had a rhythm with them as well. Okay, now, ne'ekal mazon, right? Means literally the food, right, is eaten. This is the past tense. This is the passive. The noon serves in this place as a prefix. All right? When you put that in front of the qual regular, it transforms to the nif'al passive. Are there any questions about what we're talking about? At all? Okay. So, just want that to be noted for edification purposes. All right, I'm going to erase this for space and then continue on. All right, so we had the qual, we had the nif'al. Now, brothers and sisters, we want to explain something in regards to that. You have the word rakat, right? Meaning what? Anybody? What does rakat mean? To wash, to clean. All right? Wash. Okay? The verb form. Now, when you go in your 201 verb book, Brothers and sisters, we are on page 336, all right? And what we're speaking of, if we will, all right, I don't need to sit for this one. We have the word rakats. Can it be seen? Up, down, left side, steady, what? Up? Yeah, where my thumb is. You see it? So you see on page 336 where it says to wash or to bathe also means to clean. You see that a lot in Leviticus 15. Shall wash himself, bathe himself, so forth. It's talking about unclean aspect. That's what that's talking about. All right, so you got the past tense. Rakatsti, rakatsta. Then you got the future tense. Erkats, rokates, roketzet. We went over all of that before. Now, one of the things I want to point out is you got the nif'al. Can it be seen where my index finger is? All right, you got nirkats, to be washed, to be bathed. You understand? I remember, not to be too personal, my little one's mother is not in this way of life. She does not speak Hebrew. And I remember one time teasing her, quote unquote, well, making fun of her, quote unquote. It was a thing in which I was sitting up there saying, oh, hatanokit nirkaza. She's like, what? Yeah, hatanokit nirkaza. She's like, I don't even speak that. What are you talking about? I'm saying you just had the baby washed, past tense, in the passive. The baby couldn't wash, who's now 10, couldn't wash herself, but you washed the baby. All right, so rakats, to wash, as we went over, okay? To wash. Then we have nirkats. All right? To be washed. All right? Now, I want to explain something for edification purposes. If we remember, right, you had the word akal, right? Akal is the qual, that's the active. Then you have ne'ekal, right? Okay, akal, qual stem, right? Ne'ekal, nif'al stem. Now we have rakats, qual stem. And nirkats, to be washed, nif'al stem. Do you understand there's a little difference? And that is akal turns to ne'ekal. This doesn't become ne'rekats. The vowels change. Why? Because as we remember 2 weeks ago, this is why this goes by syllabus. You can't skip a lesson and expect to understand this. I want to state again. You cannot skip a lesson and expect to understand this. There was a sister in Shema here who asked me, eye to eye, not to expose her name, well, do I, from the lessons, follow along from now or go in the past? I go in the past to follow up. If you got any questions, post it inside the comment board. That's the way this is being conducted. I am following a syllabus. You understand? So therefore, you can't skip a lesson like you just can't skip 3 days or 4 days of college and expect to go right back to be able to understand unless you just know the subject already. You understand? So that's what it is in that light. So now, as stated, anytime you have a verb, which wash and eat of verbs, it's an action, right? You have it to where when it's in an aleph in the beginning, it's a pay aleph verb. We went over that 2 weeks ago. Rakats is not a pay aleph, a pay noon, lamed aleph, or anything of that sort, or lamed hey. It's what they call the shalamim verb, or regular verbs, or a verb that's not irregular. Pay aleph verbs, as in a akal, is considered an irregular verb. Therefore, when you show it in its passive form under the nif'al, it turns from akal to ne'ekal. Whereas the regular or shilamim, or what they consider not irregular verbs, like rakat, like shamar, like katab, it doesn't turn into an sound, it turns to an sound. Nir kat, ne'ekal. This is how you teach the Hebrew language. You understand? When you're getting into the verb aspect, there are 7 verb stems, and so far we've basically been focusing on 2. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, I went over the entire qual stem. You understand? We're talking about past tense, future tense, present tense. The bakalam, the infinitive, the imperative, and also the past participle. So that's already online. And we did it with the pei aleph, the lamed hey, and the different forms of it. So we can gain edification purposes. Are there any questions about what we went over here so far? Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is continue on, because this is online, with what we're talking about, right? Now, one of the things I want to point out is this. If we remember the past participle, all right, of the qual stem. Give you an example. The word akul, right? Aleph, kaf, lamed. The root of that is akal. Past participle, you will go into this same book, 201 Hebrew Verb book, on page 12. And you'll see it right where my thumb is. Let me know if I'm at the right spot on the camera. All right, you see where it says past participle, also known as the passive present, same thing in English lingo. Akul, if you see that word, akula, akulin, and akulot, all of these words that we see right here, if it could be seen clearly, right? Bring it down, good. All right, so just want that to be noted. The past participle, right, or passive present, serves as the same form in the qual stem as the nif'al does. All right? So ne'ekal, all right, in the nif'al, all right, serves as the same as akul. Word for sandwich in Hebrew is karik. So hakarik akul. The sandwich is eaten. Hakarik ne'ekal. The sandwich is eaten. It's the same thing. So when you're dealing with the ne'al form, showing it's passive in the past tense, only does this work in the past tense. All right? You can transform it from the past participle of the qual or the nif'al past tense. And that works. So if you go in the same book here, 201 Word books on page 336. All right? We look at the word rakats. All right? If it can be seen, rakats. Can it be seen with the qual stem? To wash, to bathe. Right? Rakuts. Can that be seen where the pen is? Let me know if I got to focus it. All right? Rakuts, washed. Rekutza, rekuzim, rekuzo. To be washed. It's the same thing. So you can use this as well as this. And it only works in that particular form. All right? So I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Are there any questions or comments about what we've gone over so far? Questions, comments? Okay. So, now, I want to state what I just said yet again. When you're dealing with the past participle or the passive present in the qual stem, it's the same as using it in the nif'al stem. All right? So I just hope that could be noted for edification purposes in reasoning. Okay. Were they able to see and hear clearly? They was able to see and hear clearly? Okay, cool. So what we're going to continue on doing, following the same patterns that we were dealing with, right? I want to go over how to break down a word in Hebrew. You know how you take the word important, import, ant at the E, sirs, at the end, serves as what they refer to as a, no problem. It serves as what they refer to as a suffix. Well, Hebrew has the same premises. So the first word we're going to use, right? Okay. Is this mish papayim? Does anybody know what this word means that's in the room or online? What does mish papayim mean? Anybody? All right. Well, mish papayim means glasses, like your eyeglasses. Okay, now remember I kept on picking on our buddy the mem. If you drop out the mem, you get the word shukwafayan. If you remember, that ayin signifies a dual plural, because yadayim is hands because you have two hands. Matayim means 200, as we went over before. Then you have a word such as the word shokwayim mean legs because you got two legs. Then you got machanayim, which means two camps, because the ayim signifies it. Yes, it's plural, but it's only two of that. Well, mishkwafayim, the ayim signifies that. So you got to then look at this word, all right? That's me? It's not me. I want my pen. I want my pen. We dealing with, we got it. Mem, we kept on picking on mem. If we remember, this serves as a prefix, right? We went over that before. Okay, prefix. Then we have ayin, signifying the dual plural, right? Then we have our buddy here, shakwaf. That's the chicken thigh right there. All right, that's the meat right there. Shakwaf means to view. All right, to view. Shakwafti, shakwafta, okay? Nishkwaf, we will view, so forth. So mishkwafayim. So how do they get glasses out of that? It's taking the word shakwaf, meaning to view, ayin, because you got two things for your glasses, and just put a mem. So you change it from the verb to the noun, and then you show the plural of that same noun by the ayin. See, it's easy. I was saying this back on March 5th inside the Shabbat class. It's easy, it's different, but it's not difficult, Yisrael. All right, so I just hope that could be noted for edification purposes. Are there any questions about what we just went over? Okay, so, okay. Right, when you put a verb and a word there, that's a verb. In most cases, by just adding or prefixing a mem in front of it, changes it from a verb to a noun. So mishkwafayim means glasses, speaking of eyeglasses, and that's stated to do a plural with the ayin. All right, so we're going to go over, continuing on, in this particular aspect, all right, if we will, with this other word here, following the same aspect. I spelled this wrong. I'm sorry. Can anybody read what this word is online or in person? At all? Questions? I got a question. Can anybody read that word here that's online? That's my question. Nobody ever asked me if I got a question. Well, that's my question right there. Can anybody look at that word right there and sound it out? At all? The word is Yerushalayim, transliterated as Jerusalem. Cain. And the marker is right here, okay? The meaning of it serves as a two-word conjunction, while it's a dual plural at the same time, all right? The word Yarusha means what? Anybody? What does Yerusha mean? Does anybody know? There's a couple of Israelite women with that name, Yerusha. No, this one means Jerusalem. I'm asking from Yerushalayim or Yerushalayim. What would Yarusha mean? It means inheritance. All right? A lot of times in the Tanakh, it uses the word nakala for inheritance, but Yarusha also means inheritance. So you got Yerushalayim. They got Yarush, right? Drop the hay. You get Shalayim. Shin, Lamed, Mem. Shalem. Peace. This is how you break people down, baby. All right? Inheritance of peace. Yerushalayim means the inheritance of peace. Jerusalem means the inheritance of peace. Some Hebrew scholars try to translate Yerushalayim by saying Yaru Shalayim, meaning, okay, Yaru means throne. Like I threw the ball, so the ball is thrown. Shalayim, peace. Some people, when you study in depth in Hebrew lexicons and so forth and so on, they will tell you in certain cases, but I want to put a question mark because I don't agree with that. But they will sit there and tell you that Yerushalayim means the piece that is thrown, like you just threw peace at somebody. Like, here you go, here's your piece, and I'm going to throw it or give it to you. Even if you take that interpretation, that's still what you have been inherited, because your inheritance is saying give it to you. Jerusalem was the capital during the era of King David. So this is just something I wanted to point out for edification purposes. All right. Are there any questions about what we? All right. So we're going to continue on. What we're We're going to continue on in what we were dealing with in this particular aspect. All right. So what we're going to be dealing with in this particular aspect, right, is the next one that I have for Hebrew edification and how to break down the word. Yeah, let's go in. Let's go in. All right, we got this word right here. For those hearing me, you know it's about to go down. We have, because see, I enjoy doing what I'm doing. All right? We have this word right here. Can anybody, before I put the vowels, what does that word say? Anybody? That's a mem. You know where I'm going with that mem already. All right, you read the root of it. Good. This word here says mish eret. All right, you have meme or mem, mish, the shawab. You join it with what was before it. If you go over lesson 1, I keep emphasizing, you have mish eret. All right, that's in Deuteronomy 28. You know the chapter we always talking about as Israelites? Well, mish eret is translated generally as your knitting troughs. It literally, however, means your possessions. All right, now I want to explain where they get the understanding of this being what they call a knitting trough. all right? Or something that you need something with. Need with the K-N-E-A-D. Now, N-E-E-D. That's the word zarak. Zarak means to need, all right? Zarakti, I needed, all right? Nitrakti, I was needed, all right? So went over the qual and the nifal with that. Now, as time goes on, like Kohen Mikael, my teacher, stated, you will begin to look at a verb and be able to go into all 7 stems of it because it goes by pattern. You understand? It all goes by pattern. Hebrew is different, but it's not difficult, all right? All right, so I just want that to be noted. You have our friend here again, the mem, which is the prefix, all right? Then you have this word right here, sha'ar, right? This sometimes is transformed from a sheen to a theme. You will see that when you go into Hebrew lexicons. So if you're saying this as the seen or the S sound, we went over that before, sheen and seen has the same numerical value, so forth, all right? So or means sour, S-O-U-R. You see that when you go into Exodus, lo tokal for or. Shib at yamin tokal matzot lechem oni. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. No leaven agents. So or, to knead your dough together. Mish eret sheen aleph resh. Seen aleph resh. Feor means sour, as in the case of something that's of leaven. All right, like unleavened bread, where it's the opposite of that. This is, you see this in Exodus 12, you see this in Deuteronomy 16, and so forth and so on. Then we have our other not so commonly used suffix, which is the tau. You don't see that too much as a suffix, but it's there. All right, you see that a lot more in verbs. Kotebet, shomeret, okelet, yoshebet. You see the word yoshebet with the tau as the suffix in Leviticus 15. Israel, if you ain't go over past 1 and 2, you're going to be lost. I say this as your brother, as your son, because I know there's elders who are in their 70s. Their sons are telling me, yeah, my mom's watch you. So I'm saying this to you as your brother, your son, your friend, and your biological brother and your biological cousin who watch this later on. If you ain't get past 1 and 2, you're not going to understand this. Please go back, and this is all still online. Okay, now, this is something I wanted to be noted for purposes. Mish eret. Now, the word sha'ar, all right? Oh, pardon me, I'm sorry. The word, where is the eraser? Where'd the eraser go? The word, sorry, she'er, right? Means remnant. In Isaiah, it says Sha'ar Yashub. In Isaiah chapter 8, if I'm not mistaken, a remnant shall return. So we have She'er or Sha'ar, meaning remnant, Mish Eret Shin Aleph Resh, and Se'or, that which is sour. Because when something is leavened already, went to fermentation, that is the remains or the remnant of it. See how Hebrew science works? See, leaven and remnant don't sound alike, but se'or and she'er sound alike. So the words in English that have a similar meaning in the formation of it have the same root words in Hebrew. Hebrew doesn't jump way out there like that. I go, I went. Go and went don't sound alike. Halati, ani holek. I went, I go. You still see the ha sound, the hey lamekaf. You still see that Hebrew is easier when you get right down into it. I'm telling you, I have a child who speaks this better, and I say this in no offense, than some adults that I know. My child can sit there and go over all of that. She can't read it, but she's able to go back and forth like we speak in English. Because like one of the things that influenced me to do that was the Israelites in Dimona. I'm talking about 12, 13-year-olds holding conversations in Hebrew. Black kids whose parents came out of the hood of Detroit, the hood of South Chicago, left America back in the 70s and late 60s, went to Liberia, from Liberia, went to Dimona, numbering like 2,000 there. And the children speaking Hebrew fluent. When I saw that on YouTube, I was like, well, my little one can do the same thing. So I started talking to her in Hebrew. So by the time she's now 2 years old, not to brag or anything of that sort, I would say stuff to make things up, like Bowie. And she would get up off the floor and walk toward me. And I'm like, I almost fell back, like, because I'm used to just English when I was a baby, like, come here, boy, then I tell you to come here, boom, you're not listening to me. I came up under that understanding. That's how I was raised. Bong, you don't listen to me. I told you to come over here 3 times already. But with my princess, I didn't have to do that. You understand? I would say, Heat Nahagni. And she would look around like, what's wrong? And I was like, I was open. Hands down, I was open. Heat Nahagni means behave yourself. So she's looking like I didn't do nothing wrong. So by the time she's now 4 and 5, and I would say the same thing, she would say things like Lohi Awalti. And I'm like, I'd stop. I just dropped my bag. I was like, she knows it. So don't tell me that you can't learn this. Don't tell me you can't. My teachers learned this when some of them were already having children. Some of them came in this way of life when they was already in their 20s and 30s. Most of my teachers who taught me when I was a child did not know this when they was 17, 18, 16, 15. You understand? But their children do, and I do. And now, blessed be the Most High, returning back the blessing and passing the baton on. See, in Israel, we don't stop. No offense intended, the conscious community and the Kemetic society, when their leaders drop dead, they don't know what to do. When my teachers passed, More Yosef, 2002. T. Simeon, 2002. More Hosea, when he passed away, I'm gonna leave that to be, personal. Cohen Leary, 2004. We ain't stopping Israel. We continue the same teachings in the history, the language, and the culture that our teachers left behind. You don't stop because the elders stop. That's not honoring the elders. But in their thing, they stop praying in the name of the dead elders, and like Saul, king of Israel, frustrating their spirit. Because the first thing Shemuel, when you go to 1 Shemuel 28, said in Hebrew, when he conjured up the spirit of the prophet Shemuel, the first thing he said is, Lama registani, which in Hebrew means, why did you disquiet me? Lama, why, right? Registani, ragas, to stir up or to arouse or to disturb. Stir up, arouse, or disturb. Regista, you disturb, you arouse. Registani, you disturb or you aroused me. Lama registani. In other words, like my moms and my biological pops, they rested in peace. I'm not trying to go and see, well, what would mommy say? We deal with this right here. So it says in Proverbs, because my mama passed back in 2004, forget not the law of your mother. So I'm not Dean Warwick or anybody else to up the spirit of my dead pops or my dead moms or any of my dead teachers when we already got the word of Yahweh still among us. That's we deal with the God of the living, not Egypt's Anbu, God of the dead. We don't do that. Let the dead be in peace. Because if you try to do that, and like Deuteronomy 18 says, you will get an uncleanness upon you. You understand? So the people who delve in that, you're not even respecting to somebody's peace. You ever been woken up like out of a sleep you was deep in? And somebody just, even parents or siblings, and they wake you up, depending upon who's doing it, might have a different reaction. Sibling, like, what you doing? With your parent, you just be like, okay, you humble yourself. You understand what I'm saying? But getting back to the point of what I'm saying is you're not in your full state of mind. So when you're conjuring up the dead, which is against the culture of Yisrael, what exactly are you doing? This is why, and I say this in love to my Messianic brothers and sisters, that is essentially why we don't stay in the New Testament, not that that's the main subject of this teaching, states that he died. Hebrews in the New Testament chapter 9 stated that Jesus Christ was the mediator of the New Testament, and that a testament is only in existence as long as the mediator is not alive. So in order for the testament to exist, according to Hebrews chapter 9 in the New Testament, the death of Jesus Christ was necessary. This is why we don't pray in the name of that person, because you're calling upon that which is noted to be dead in Israel. We don't pray, Yahweh Ba'ashem. No, we don't do that. Reason being, again, is because even when you deal in what's called the New Testament, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary and some of the apostles went to the tomb to see the sepulchre and said, oh, he's not here. He's gone away up in heaven. He's dead. We don't call on the spirit of that which is deceased, be it Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob. Because some of the comments will be like, well, you pray to Abraham. No, we pray to the God of Abraham. We pray to the God of Isaac, the true and the living God. We don't pray to Moses. We pray to the God who spoke to Moses. What did the Most High tell Joshua in closing out? Moses, my servant, is dead. Now go take the people, go over the Jordan. We don't stop when our leaders pass. We keep it moving. That's called growth. Okay, so didn't want to offend no one, but just want that while in that mode to just let that be noted for edification purposes. Now, that concludes the lesson. But are there any questions or comments concerning it? And I'm going to write my number down and conclude out. Okay. Now, it may have not seemed like a lot of writing in this lesson, but trust, for those who are interested, they know that was a lesson, because you went over a lot. 908, 587, 4841. That's Yeshaya. If you go on last lesson, if you're interested in my book, the information is already up there. You don't have to keep putting it like a sales map. Buy my book, buy my book. No, if you're interested, it's on there. So with that, I say Torah for the time and shalom. Okay, we're going to say a prayer. Okay. So how did you find the class? Those, yeah, no. Okay, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. What we'll do is close out and move on from there. Okay. Anybody between y'all two care to say the closing prayer? Okay, yes, I'm ready. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Nah, yeah. Nah, yeah. Our children may come from this way, like understanding what the language and the forefathers spoken that you had better for our culture, our original culture, the whole, the knowledge and understanding. So that y'all for this time, so that y'all for the brother, Yeshaya, that he's gonna teach me and my cousin for all of us to get on safe and on this night. Nah, yeah. And learn more. Amen. Amen. Nah, Todaya. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen. I want to state to the class, if you haven't gotten it yet, please get this book, the Ben Yehuda Hebrew English Dictionary, available online, and the 201 Verb book. All right, these classes will continue. For those who already have the 201, you already see we only went complete the qual stem, still got the knee file, and the other 5 stems. All right, so the verbs take most of the time. The nouns, 2 lessons. The verbs take a bulk of the time in learning the lesson fluent. All right, so remember, it goes by pattern, and that's that. Most I bless, Lada Tov, Shalom.